All right. Welcome to another episode of Scotty Talks. We're doing the NBA Mondays edition today. I got some special guests with me from Heat Ratio Sports. Of course, you know this podcast is already presented by Heat Ratio Sports. I got a couple of the guys from the network on today. Al Griffin, JD Oracle. If you guys want to go ahead, introduce yourselves to all the listeners. We are live on my page on Twitter. We're live on YouTube. And we are live on the Heat Ratio Sports Facebook page. So what's up?
Great. You want to go first, Oracle?
Nah, man, you go first, man. You got it.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for allowing me to be on this show, man. I really appreciate it. Second, we had a show last night. That was our fifth show on Heat Ratio Sport on Sunday nights. The time varies on Sunday nights, but we always bring in the heat on our show, and ready to talk some all NBA, not just Sixers, all NBA.
Yeah, we'll still hit on the Sixers a good bit, but I try to keep it universal so we can keep all the other fans happy as well. I got a lot of friends from different places, a lot of listeners from different places. So we'll hit on some NBA stuff. We'll finish it up with the Sixers talk, of course. What about you, JD? What you got going on, man?
Man, I'm doing everything. I got right now I'm on 4 different podcasts, including To The Wire, 2TW for short. I'm on there with my boy Terrence. So we're working on new content. We normally are a collegiate based show. But since there's been kind of a dead period, one thing we'll have coming up should be March Madness, and then we should have maybe baseball or softball. So for anybody who's into those two things, we kind of kick it with that. We still bring up breaking news. We on every Friday at 8 p.m. Rain, sleet, snow, or sunny. You know what I'm saying? We out there. Bad connection and all. So we're gonna be bringing y'all the heat, and we look forward to getting any new followers, anybody that's wants to listen. We here for that.
Absolutely.
And thanks again, for real.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy you guys were excited to come to my show. That lets me know I'm doing something right. I'm getting along with the right people. So, of course. I want to shout out Heat Ratio Sports one more time before we get started here today. If you're not following the Heat Ratio Sports Twitter page, make sure you're following that. Always bringing the breaking content, of course, on Instagram as well. We got the Heat Ratio Sports page on there as well. As always, be sure to go follow my personal page at Scotty Drown, and of course the sports page at ST Philly Sports 1. Let's get started. We're going to start with an interesting topic. I think this is universal in all of basketball. Flopping. Flopping. The reason I bring this up is because there was a report that came out that LeBron and Kyle Kuzma got warned for flopping in the Memphis game, and I thought that was funny that they're giving out warnings for that. But thinking about it in a sense where guys like Harden, even Embiid, guys the guy we love in Philly, right? These guys' games are based around. I don't want to call it flopping. But drawing fouls, right? So I just kind of wanted to get y'all's thoughts on that as a whole and how that's kind of become a skill set in the NBA.
Well, I could probably say it's some really good actors, but I can also say it's art. It's an art. Our boy from Philly. Why is his name? It plays for Toronto. Lowry. He is excellent at it. Yeah. He acts like you drawing blood every time you touch him. But he's great at it. He's always drawing fouls. He's drawing the extras. You off a pick and roll. You act like you knocked the 2 foul. He's great at it. But the LeBron one the other night, I didn't see it at first, and then when I actually seen the replay, I was like, "Oh, that was really extra." Like, you see a lot of people doing stuff like Harden and everybody out, Larry, and a couple other players are really good at. But that one, you normally don't get caught that badly. And so they had to say something. They probably were like, come on, LeBron, you know we don't want to have to call you out, but we have to on this. We can't just let you get away with getting an Academy Award. I thought somebody was going to bring an Oscar out to him after that one. I mean, that was beautiful. And you didn't know. You had no idea until you see the replay how bad he was acting.
Right. And I know y'all saw that. I know y'all saw that Jimmy Butler clip from the other night too.
Yeah.
He's laying on the ground, so it's gotten as far as they're faking injuries. He's poking an eye out like that. That was wild. But yeah, it's getting more and more obvious, and the league's starting to catch on to it a little bit. You see that with the swing through as well. They're not calling that as a shot as much anymore. Even
the have to game on that too, because they're not calling it as much as they used to.
Yeah, the M1s where they start their gather, they're like saying it's still on the floor. Like I saw that a couple times when Damian Lillard went up the other night.
Yeah, I was watching it too.
How do you feel about it, JD?
Oh man, I'm being quiet. So for me, when I play ball, like I was a smarter player, so I would be more like a Lowry. So like, I mean, I was a little smaller for a point guard. I'm only like 6'2", so I was small for college. So I did have to use my body, had to use a little bit more, not say theatrics, but I would definitely say I had to be a little smarter. The guys that you see doing it are the smaller guys. You see LeBron doing it every so often, but I mean, LeBron is LeBron, man. We're gonna have to just let him be who he is. Like, in 18th season, I'll be flopping too. Shit, I ain't trying to get hit. Like, so, I mean, as much as I want to, I want to indict him for that, I think I got to be real about it. And like with LeBron, yeah, it is look bad, but in all sports, there's flopping. They flop in football now. They flop in soccer. They've been flopping in soccer. Baseball, when hitting the catcher sometimes, them dudes don't really be getting hit. But because of, because they can use the optical illusion to the referees, umpires, or whoever is judging the game, there has to be some theatrics, because all it takes is now you make it a judgment call for the referee. Either he's on your side or he's on the opponent's side. So am I saying it's going to ever go away? No. Do I like it? No. But at the same time, I did it. So, I mean, it is what it is.
And yeah, I think you hit it right on the head right there. It's one of them things where if your player's doing it, it's cool. We'll sit here. Joe is a flopper. He is. And it gets to the point where I'm like, yo, stop flopping. He flops so hard that it looks like he's going to injure himself. Yeah. Like the way he falls, he's too big to be doing all that, I swear.
Yeah. But, he is score way too much for me.
Yeah, same, bro. And it's like, it's good when it's in B, but when Marcus Smart does it, we hate that. We hate Marcus. You know what I mean? Like James Harden does the swipe through, it's annoying, but when he does it, it's cool. So it's for your advantage at the end of the day. Yeah. I look at it similar to like a player like Draymond Green, who's just like that annoying player on the other team that you would love to have on your team, but you don't. And that's why you hate him. So that's how I look at flopping and the whole theatrics of the NBA. It's annoying, but it's smart. Like you said, Oracle, it's annoying, but it's smart. And we're seeing it in every sport nowadays. It's crazy. They're even doing it in football. You'll see that stuff on pass interferences. Baby. Yeah, those get crazy. But we'll kind of keep it on the same page with the Lakers. I did kind of switch this one a little bit. I did just want to touch on the AD injury. The Anthony Davis injury came out. It's like a strained calf. It was looking like an Achilles last night. I have a lot of Lakers fans as friends, and I was really worried for their sanity because I don't think it's looking right without AD. I kind of wanted to get y'all's feelings on basically what do the Lakers look like without AD? Obviously LeBron, everybody's got him at, up there with Embiid as far as MVP standings. How do the Lakers look without, AD? And then what would you do if you're the Lakers organization as far as resting him, making sure that injury doesn't get worse? How far would you take that, I should say?
I probably, how I would handle this is, I think I seen a report that said we're going to look at him in 3 weeks We're going to look at him again in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I would probably let LeBron dictate at what pace and how hard he's going to go in particular games. But don't kill him to be like, all right, we need to win this game.
Right,
Whatever happens, let it be natural. He played 2 overtimes the other night. I don't think that's worth it right now. You definitely can't afford for him to be getting any type of injury. So don't push it too hard. Let their other role players step up and play more. And then let whatever's going to happen. And if you're down, maybe let's just use a number 5 games out of the 1 seed. Right now, unfortunately, home court might not really mean much.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we could go to a Sixers game. Knock on my wood table. I'm hoping that we could go to a Sixers playoff game and do our thing and be the home court advantage that we are. But it might not ever get to that. Maybe it might only get to maybe 10,000 fans in the $23,000 and 23,000 stadium. So it might not matter that you are the 3rd seed as opposed to the 1st seed, which you really want to be. So he come back, and then whatever happens after that, maybe you can catch up. But I'm not going to put a whole bunch into it like, oh my God, we got to stay number 1, or we got to stay on Utah's heels. They're only 2 games behind. As good as Utah's played, they're only 2 up right now. So it's not like they blew the Lakers away before this happened. So as long as they can stay, I think as long as they can stay in a 5 to 6 game range by the time AD coming back. Now, also, you got to remember, 3 weeks is going to put us right around after the All-Star break is over. So you got the week, then you got these couple weeks until the All-Star break. So they're not really losing a whole lot. It's just time that's actually on their side because of the All-Star break. So I think they'll be okay. And I just don't think that it's worth trying to force anything. We're trying to play LeBron maybe 40 minutes now, as opposed. It's nothing worth it right now. We ain't barely even hit the All-Star break. So that's what I think. Anything more than they try to do wouldn't be a wise decision.
How you feel, Oracle? What you think?
All right, so there's a lot to unpack here because there's a different couple of things you asked. So you said, let's say the injury isn't a pulled or strained calf. Let's just say that's what they're saying for right now, and they're saying they're going to re-look at it in 3 weeks.
Right.
Well, you just brought up a really good point. In 3 weeks, they could say AD's out for the season with a torn Achilles.
That's
what they could do. Because if you're really thinking about it, I don't know if you guys really remember the Klay injury, but when Klay first tore his Achilles, they were saying strained calf, and then they came back and they were like, "Oh no, it's a torn Achilles." So when it comes to injuries, you always got to think about the PR nightmare that it could be for the Lakers. So I think they probably try. If it was something more serious, they could be doing damage control using the All-Star break as a way to kind of use that time to kind of go after somebody or seeing what they can go after before the break. So that's our number one. So that's my number one thing. So the second thing I would like to bring up is the simple fact that the Lakers could drop to the 5th seed and they would still be a nightmare for anybody they had to play, regardless of who it would be. So when it comes to seeding, I have a very different mindset about seeding in the sense of, I mean, is it good to get the number 1 seed, number 2, number 3 seed? Yeah, it's fine because you don't have to play a better talent. But if you're really a juggernaut, those other teams don't want to play you either.
Right.
Like you got to think about it. Like sometimes you have a better chance beating that team that's 6, now realizing they got to go up against a Lakers team that is now 5, thinking they was going to get, we're going to get Portland or somebody. And they end up, drawing the Lakers, a fully rested Lakers team. And this could be a best way to do some, where they let the players rest, load management. This could be a load management tactic.
Yeah.
Because they're getting fined if they don't play and stuff like that, or you don't want to say it's COVID. Well, maybe you just say, okay, he's got a torn leg for a little while, let him rest, and then he's 4. Then that's like what Al said. That's 4 weeks basically. You could rest him, and not really do nothing to your record. You can still be second, third, maybe 3 or 4 games back, depending on how Utah does. But I mean, that's not the worst.
Yeah.
Hey, I hate these. I just said this before the show started. I hate people when people want to sell. Like I hate wayward fans. I just am not for it. You have to have a high dexterity for pain being a fan. You just have to. You know you're gonna get it. You never know what's gonna happen. And all that. And I see the Go Buckeyes. Hey, man.
Chill.
He did that directly towards you.
You know what? I'll take the Buckeyes comment, because at the end of the day, they 1-5 to us. So I ain't even tripping. I'm good. I'll take that loss.
Okay.
But I'm done. Y'all got my stuff.
Yeah. So I guess my direct response to that would be I guess my direct thought to that would be, the only problem with that is that if he is done or if he isn't, you kind of need to know if you need to make a move before the All-Star break. Yeah. So it's kind of in that tweener range where it's like, man, if you don't make that move, you're stuck, or you're gonna have to go with buyouts rather than the trade market. But I'm right there with you. I mean,
if something happens. The NBA might be, they might want to be a little scared, because imagine, all right, you'll have just like throw a hypothetical. AD is out. You try to tell me 1 million people won't want to buy out so they can play with LeBron? Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't say, I got a chance to go play with LeBron and on a buyout? All right, buy me out right now. Buy me out, and I want to go. I know JJ will do it.
Yeah.
We're talking about what's the name from Detroit? He's already thinking about doing it. Maybe Drummond might want to do it. You got 1 billion people that
Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin was a big name out there.
Right, about 1 billion people, I think, would say, get the agent right on the phone and be like, can we work on a buyout? Because I think I need to take a flight out of LA.
Yeah,
and then it might be worse, because you can pull more people on that team. It's actually worse for the Western Conference than it would be, because now you got 3 or 4 people taking the minimum, just going to play just because they can. And the roster is as big as it is now because of COVID. You can fit as many people on your team as you need to. So you got to watch out for that.
Yeah, and with the Lakers, I think what my man Mike down here said. They did pick up guys like Montrezl Harrell, Marc Gasol, not guys you want to go into playoffs, as a contender with. Starting at your your big man positions, but enough to kind of hold you over, beat the weaker teams, and maybe you lose to a couple powerhouses. If you can even just steal a couple of those games without AD in there, it really depends on what the injury is, because if they just have to survive, that's a lot different than going into the playoffs without AD. Right. Like, there's nobody that you can even acquire at this point that is going to make the difference. That
it would just lessen the blow a little bit. That's all
exactly. Yeah. So we'll leave that at that. We'll go to the next subject. I want to talk, about the Brooklyn Nets, but also about the Eastern Conference and in this bunch that it is in right now. What does it really mean? We talked about this earlier. Oracle. He said he even just mentioned it. Playoff seeding doesn't matter. That's more of a confidence and like an optics thing, I think that is, for fans, especially in this climate, because you mentioned it, Al. Fans might not even be at the game, so it may not matter at all. But yeah, so the first team I want to look at is the Brooklyn Nets. KD just got this hamstring-ish injury. He's going to be out a couple games now. That big three's only played 7 games together total. They've had like 17 different starting lineups. So this team is not building chemistry right now, and they're not getting the opportunity. Right. So I kind of want to get y'all's opinion on how that could hamper them down the road in respect to the rest of the Eastern Conference. Let's start with that.
I mean, I'm thinking every day that goes by is actually better for us that they're not getting the chemistry that they need, because they need to be on the court. And actually, I had looked at their schedule, and in the next 7 games, they had to play the Suns, Lakers, and the Clippers. So I was actually looking forward to see that big 3 against those teams to know how they're going to play against anybody. Can beat Charlotte and they beat Golden State. If you can slow down Curry from not lighting you up for 50, then you can beat Golden State. That's all you have to do. You can't let Curry go off on you. So that game didn't mean anything to me, and they beat Milwaukee without somebody. Somebody didn't play when they played Milwaukee a couple.
I think it was Drew. I think it was Drew.
Yeah, and Drew, I actually still out with Milwaukee. So I was looking to try to gauge them. So I still can't, because now KD is probably going to miss these next 2, maybe the whole rest of the road trip. So that doesn't help me. That doesn't help me. And then when they playing Washington, even though they lost a couple of times, and they playing other teams that's not even their caliber, I can't figure out whether they're going to be good or bad. I just can't. I need to know. I seen Kyrie the other night say, yeah, Harden's going to be the point guard. Yeah, okay. Again, you're saying that in the media. It needs to be that. All of that needs to be figured out before you go on the court. Harden is going to do this thing. I'm going to come off the screens. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Van Gundy said against Golden State they played better defense. You're playing Golden State, dude. Like, you can't gauge, are they playing better defense against Golden State? Stop.
Yeah.
So you got like a real good team that has offensive weapons to know if they're going to put forth the effort. I still very much doubt that they're going to play the defense that they need to play to win a championship. I just doubt it. Now, as far as Milwaukee, I can't. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's the Drew thing, or I don't know why they lost to OKC the other night. I don't know what's going on there. I can't get a gauge in them yet. I have to watch a couple more games with Drew come back to know how good or bad they're going to be. And are they going to be our competition in these?
Yeah. And I think, before I let you go, Oracle, the key there, I think, is the fact that it's a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
And those injuries tend to linger. So I think that, if they try to rush him back, that's easily aggravated. It can definitely hamper him down the line.
Now that you say that, I wonder if that's in the same leg that he had the Achilles on. That could be a real problem.
Because when you have an injury like that, it causes the rest of your leg or that area to strain to make up for that injured part. So, that could have something to do with it as well. What are your feelings, Oracle?
The Nets are trash. I'm tired of it. Tired of it, bro. Like, I'm tired of hearing about them. They're freaking trash. And the reason that they're trash, they got there's a saying where I'm from. Is when you can't play nobody, you can't play defense on a frozen cadaver. They used to say that all the time. And them dudes right there, 2 of the 3 can't play defense.
Yeah, true.
How can you beat anybody? And I mean, like, playoff basketball. I'm not talking about these shootouts, run, shoot, like that, nothing like that. We talking about playoff basketball where people really strap up, like they really play defense. And if I'm torching you on the regular season, I'm not even trying. Yeah. Come on, man. Like, listen,
could you
stop it?
Could you imagine if the Nets ran into the Boston Celtics in the playoffs? They could lose to the Celtics very easily. You know what I mean? They have the same issues, except the Celtics are probably a better defense by a big margin.
Because they only got 1 non-defensive player. They got 2.
Right.
And there's 2 players that you need in the game during dire situations. So if you're a liability on defense, and this is this is not an indictment on KD, because I know KD can play D when he wants. That's not an indictment on him.
Yeah.
I've never seen.
He can. Yes.
It's Harden and Kyrie. And if I hear another person tell me that these 2 ball dominant guards are the 2 best guards, I don't give a damn about no handles. I don't give a damn about none of that. Dribbling in a circle will get you a 24-second violation. That does not matter to me. Like, I don't care about nobody being put in the Y cycle. I'm over and 1. I've been done with that for years. I want to see some really skillful cats play ball. Like Lowry, I love that dude. He get to a bucket. Like, I don't need all that. He don't dribble around in a circle. And even that people talk about Allen Iverson did one move. The crossover got you off balance, and he either rocked you and shot on you, or he drove past you and dunked on you. Like, that's just what we dealt with. Like, I'm tired of that. Kobe ain't do all that mess. Jordan didn't do all that mess. T-Mac didn't do all that mess. Like, get rid of these two clowns. I mean it. Like, let's get rid of them. Things go to New York to die. Things go to Brooklyn to die. That's where they at. I'm sorry, KD. I love you, but those two clowns you just went and pulled out of no man's land ain't gonna get you nowhere, brother.
I was just looking at the stats. I looked at it a couple weeks ago, and they were right behind Washington with giving up 120 points a game. Now they're second behind. Now they're third behind Washington and somebody else with giving up 118. So they improved by 2 points. Like 120 points a game. Like it's nothing to them to give up 120 a game. Like, I just don't understand it. I always been defense is going to win a championship. So I have that in my mindset. In any sport, defense is going to win the championship.
And mind you,
to give up 100, now you got to say you gave up some points, but 120 a game, like, they just don't care. They just like, we just going to outscore everybody. That don't work. It don't work like that. And
mind you, when you look at this Eastern Conference and you're looking at these teams that are battling right now, because, mind you, we're still early in the season, maybe a third of the way through. But you got teams that are fighting to get back in it. Teams like Miami that are out of the picture right now. So, I mean, if they scramble around, mess around, get like that 7th, 8th, 6th seed, and the Nets run into Miami. I mean, did you see what Bam Adebayo was doing to them? We haven't even talked about their big man. We haven't talked about Des Green getting minutes at center.
I'm worried about that. Yeah, I'm actually worried about that because I seen Drummond is sniffing around. That's a problem if they get Drummond. We don't want them to get Drummond. We don't want them to get anybody with some skill or anybody that's going to give them that rebound in those block shots. We can't. That will be a problem if they can get one of those type of guys. So hopefully, Drummond goes somewhere else. I heard a rumor of him maybe going to Toronto.
I heard Toronto. I heard Boston as well.
Yeah. So I can deal with that, but I can't deal with them getting any type of defensive presence. But I don't know. I just think think in their mindset that they're just going to outscore everybody, and that's how we're going to win. Yeah. They're talking all that stuff on SportsCenter. Yeah, we know we got to play defense. They know two people on the big three don't play defense. And if I'm running my offense, I got to run. I seen the Toronto game when Toronto beat them in Brooklyn. All they did was whoever Kyrie was sticking, posted him up and took him right to the hoop every time. There's nothing Kyrie was going to do to stop him. That was either going to foul him or you was going to double team and swing into the open man and hit the open shot. That's all you're going to do. Kyrie is a liability out there, or not just his height, but just he doesn't play defense anyway. He has no interest in
it. Yeah. So I think you guys hit all the points in that. Obviously it's still early. The Eastern Conference is going to be competitive, probably between about 4 to 5 teams. But I'll leave this segment at this talking point. We'll probably talk about this later when we talk about the Sixers. But as a Sixers fan, I'm feeling great right now. The Eastern Conference, I feel like is totally dependent on Joel Embiid. Like, when you look at the other teams in the conference and you think who is going to who's going to guard Joel Embiid, and there's teams out there, there's zero teams. I mean, you look at the Heat with like Bam Adebayo, maybe he plays them a little bit better than the next guy, but nobody's stopping Embiid. It's not happening right now at the way he's playing. So that's kind of a point to leave that segment at. As far as the Eastern Conference, I just don't think there's any matchup there for Embiid. But I got a really interesting topic for you guys, and I posted a survey on Twitter the other day, just kind of talking about Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. Obviously Beal has really caught steam this year. He's leading the league in scoring, obviously. But Devin Booker's kind of been doing this for a couple years now. behind the scenes, in Phoenix. So he's not getting as much of the steam right now. Obviously, they picked up Chris Paul, so his production went down a little bit. But just wanted to throw this general question out here. If you were building a franchise today, who would you build with? Would you build with a guy like Bradley Beal, or would you build with a guy like Devin Booker? And before you answer that question, just let me go ahead and read the numbers. Bradley Beal this year, 32.9 points per game, 5.1 rebounds per game, 4.5 assists per game. Look at his career, about 22 points per game, 38% from the three-point line. You look at Devin Booker, 24.5 points per game this year, 3.8 rebounds per game, 4.3 assists per game. Career, he's at about 22, 23 points a game, 36% three-point shooter. The kicker here is that Devin Booker is 3 years younger, and I think that's the main talking point. But just based off of skill, which one of these guys would you go with?
As you were talking, I was thinking about that, and I didn't know if it was 2 or 3 years that Booker is. He's 3 years younger. So not even thinking about that. Let's put that to the side.
Right.
I think Beal could get a little better, but Booker hasn't even hit his ceiling. Booker is, this kid.
Yeah.
Every year I see some extra in his bag.
Yeah.
And I've seen him hit maybe 3 left hand off the dribble, left hand off the glass,
full speed
on the Sixers, over top of Embiid trying to block his shot. So he didn't have that in his bag last year.
No.
100% he didn't have it. He would drive to the hoop, but if somebody was contesting him, he would just throw up a crazy shot. So he's been in the gym doing what he should be doing and getting better. So imagine if he took the shots that Beal takes. Now, he's on a better team, so that would never happen. But if he did, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
He just got a little hot against us, and he dropped 36.
Yeah.
He wasn't on fire like the game about 2 months ago that Bill had when Bill dropped 50 on us. So he wasn't even shooting at that volume. But he's going to obviously he's going to get more and more pub now because they're winning, and pause there, and then they'll get to the playoffs and stuff like that. But for me, it's Booker, and it's not even. I wouldn't say it's not even close. I would just say that it's a nice distance because of if you even put the age in there, and then how much more cap room you have to keep moving. I don't know if Bill maybe have a little bit more. I think Booker can keep going, and then you can say, all right, he hit his max, and then he can stop in there. What do you think, JD?
Well, you too nice to these people, first off. Second of all, it's not close. It's not close. It's not even a conversation, because first of all, you got to think about what we watched Booker do the last 2 years. Yeah. And we didn't see him cook some folks. Mm-hmm. He got the name. He's starting to remind. We got a nickname from me and my friends. We call him the Mulatto Mamba. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. He's a Mulatto Mamba. And I'm gonna say that to say this. And we also call him the beige backbreaker. You know what I'm saying? That's what we call him, because he and I can say beige because my kids mix and they like real light skin. One of my little son looked like him, so I hope that he play like him too. but yeah, man, he different. He not even, a lot of these guys that, that are coming in the league the last couple of years, they've been having a lot of that Kobe in them. Like a lot of that Kobe in them. Kind of like when Jordan first started phasing out and people started coming in like Kobe, and they had that real like gutter, like it was in the gut inside of them. They're really not friendly.
Yeah,
they're not friendly guys.
I've seen that. I am going to interrupt you, but just as you said that, I remember in the game, he took it personal that Ben was challenging him. And he did a step back 3 on Ben and looked at him like, yeah, I'm that dude. And I'm ready for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can know when somebody feeling, when they taking their game to another level and they got that confidence in themselves that nobody can stop them. And I think he's to that. He's starting to get, he's there, but I think he's going to a whole nother level with his game. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but as soon as you said that, I remember how he looked at Ben after he made a three.
So if you check that mindset, and you look at him, and if you look at it kind of as like he got a sensei now. He didn't have a sensei before. Mm-hmm. Like he didn't have nobody. He was just giving people buckets just off the strength of him just being that dude. And now Ayton is coming around. Mm-hmm. Ayton is starting to look like a rim protector, and there's a problem if you switch off and you give him a little guy. Mm-hmm. So my thing is Booker is doing that. Booker's still Booker. Ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed with the leads in the street, baby. He out there getting it. It don't matter the season. He's been doing it, and he's proven. I like Bill. Don't get me wrong, but Bill wasn't doing all that when John Wall was there, and so there's a reason that was that way. And it's kind of, I always say this. I say this about Allen Iverson a lot because when I think about Allen Iverson and how Allen Iverson was a complete dog on offense and defense, it just makes me realize that Booker, because of his size, he's a problem to deal with because you can't just get up on him. And now he's gotten physical. So when you said the comment about him taking it to the backboard and putting up high, he wasn't doing that because he wasn't as physical. Look at his body
separation.
Look at how he looks now. His shoulders are bigger. Like he really hitting that gym. So this is like that Kobe moment from 24 to 8.
Yeah.
24 Kobe was lighting the ass, but 8 Kobe put you on your butt. So so that's why I'm at with it.
No, I think both of you guys hit it right on the head there. The reason I brought this question to the show was because on Twitter they actually voted for Bradley Beal. I mean, it was like 66% to 34%, something like that. It was a landslide. Wow. And what I would simply attribute that to is just recency bias. It's as simple as that. You got Bradley Beal. He's leading the league in scoring right now. It's a hot name in trade talks. So people are gonna, put his name out there. You have Devin Booker. He's got Chris Paul in the backcourt now. He doesn't need to put up 30 a game. He could if he needed to. He doesn't need to. And I did want to point out, we'll talk about that Phoenix matchup, with the Sixers. But aside from Devin Booker and what he was doing, man, Chris Paul. I mean, this dude, he was hitting shots. At every moment you thought the Sixers might be able to get back in the game and make a run, boom, Chris Paul's hitting a fadeaway mid-range jumper and putting it away or making the right pass. Like Devin Booker getting to play with him and learning from him, learning to understand the game like him, play with that type of ferocity. Yeah, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And mind you, the West is always going to be controlled by LeBron until he retires. But for the future, I mean, Devin Booker is young. Ayton is young. CP3 maybe has 1 or 2 seasons there, whatever the case may be. Right. Booker will be ready to go, by that time anyways. It won't matter. Right. So that's where I'm at with it. I thought it was an interesting question just because of the recency bias that comes into a conversation like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people don't look at the overall. They just look at, oh my God, Bradley Beal, 35 a game. You gotta pick Bradley Beal. Of course you gotta pick Bradley Beal. There's way more to the game than that. Bradley Beal has nobody on his team, and I'm including Westbrook. Nobody on his team, and Booker is got a totally different mindset because of who you just said. CP3 telling him how to do it, and that was very important in that game. I was watching him instructing people where to go, how to do, how I want you to set this pick, what I want you to do when I'm going this way, how I want you to move. If I move this way, I want you to swing out to the top of the key, those type of things. I mean, he was hitting passes that are indispensable. You can't.
So annoying, man. I swear he plays the game the right way.
All you had to do was
the game the right way.
Some of those. He's a whiz. He's a whiz at the point guard.
So there's a name for what y'all talking about. It's called prisoner of the moment. Like when you're a prisoner of the moment, you cannot see on either side. So they prisoners of the moment. And honestly, to be real with you, Bill's gonna probably get him a fat check to go somewhere else next year, or take his talents, and we'll see if he continues. He could be in his prime, but this could be his prime. This could be the first part of his prime. So I don't want to take that away from dude. But if you're putting up a bunch of shots as well, like obviously put up a bunch of shots in Philly at one point because he had to. There was nobody there to help him. Right. So maybe this is his part where he becomes Iverson 2.0. Maybe that is it. So I don't want to down do completely. So Twitter people, don't be mad at us. We don't think you're idiots. Just right now, we think you're idiots. If you guys just today, not in a year from now, like today, you're an idiot because
just think about this. The Booker hasn't hit his prime yet.
Yeah.
That's all you have to say. He hasn't even touched his prime yet. So now that tells you everything you need to know for the rest of the conversation.
The key there is that Booker hasn't hit his prime, and last season was Booker's Beal season. This season for Beal was Booker last season.
Right.
So he's younger, and he already hit that. He already hit that mode. He's to the mode now. He's trying to win at a very young age.
Right.
He's focused on winning. He's not focused on stats. So that's interesting as well. To your point, Al, about CP3, it's crazy what he brings to a team because I even saw Ayton like moving himself off the block. He like passed it out to Chris Paul. He said, no, like pass it right. Like, no, post up, get a bucket. You big as hell. Like you can just see it. It's directly on the court. You see it. You know what I mean? His leadership.
Yeah, he's just amazing. He's just totally in control. He is the old man.
You talk about what the Sixers need. Chris Paul is that. I mean, I think Kyle Lowry is that as well. But not to CP3's level, not to that level.
Okay.
But they give me that same feel. They play the game the right way. They play it like a true point guard, and that's what I think the Sixers lack. Aside from just obviously what we've talked about, 3-and-D, stretch 4, something of that nature. We'll kind of change directions, change speed. We'll stick out in the West. We got a big matchup, so I do want to talk about the Jazz before we get into the actual matchup with the Sixers. Number one in the West. They got key pieces. It feels like it never seems like they add too much or lose too little. They come back with the same core, but they got guys like Jordan Clarkson this year, guys like Bogdanovich, who's a great scorer, great shooting. A team that is, shooting, I think it was 42 or 43 attempts a night from the three-point line, and they're shooting 39%. Great defensive team, number one in the West, 22-5. How do y'all feel about the Jazz? Are they real? Like, what are your true feelings, your just gut instinct on the Jazz? Can they compete with the Lakers at full strength?
I wanted to say a wait and see because they haven't really played too many teams. They played did they play? No, they didn't even play Milwaukee yet. So I need to see them play some more top tier teams. I also looked them up. They have the Clippers on a back-to-back, and then they had the Lakers. Now the Lakers isn't going to have AD, so now you can't even get a good gauge off of that. And that's in the next 7 days. So besides our game tonight, so I can't tell you how they really are yet because I haven't seen them against the competition to know. All right, and when somebody pushes them a little bit, how do they react to it? If they get down 10, how they gonna react to it? If somebody gets in foul trouble and then they got to bring another bench player in, how they gonna react to it? If what's the center's name again?
Gobert.
If Embiid gets him in foul trouble, right? Who's their second guy coming off the bench that's going to be able to be their rim protector now? How they react to that? Because now they can't stop anybody off the dribble and everybody's taking the ball to the hoop. So I need to see these things to know how good they really are. Yes, record-wise, they're saying that they're the best, not only in the West, but in the whole NBA. But let's see how things are going. Like I said last night, before last night, they were only up one game on the Lakers. Yeah. They were played, and then everybody, oh my God, Utah. They were only up one game before AD went down last night and the Lakers lost. So they're not blowing everybody away. So let's see how I probably say I got to give them probably another 15, 20 games before I know if they're legit or they're just playing good in the regular season. Because if you remember correctly, Atlanta had an outstanding record. Remember that year way back? Atlanta had an outstanding record. Oh my God, Atlanta is back. And then LeBron went in there and swept them on out of there and said in the playoffs and said, get out of here. I ain't ready yet. Just because you had a good regular season, that means nothing.
So I guess let me correct my question because, I feel like, obviously they're not on the Lakers level right now. How about just in the Western Conference in general? Where would you rank Utah in true, team talent, where you think they'll finish? Would you put them over a team like the Clippers, a team like Denver? How do you feel in that aspect? I think the Lakers made it a little too simple. The Lakers are the king of the NBA right now. So we're not going to compare anybody to them, if they're full strength. Let's look at the rest of the conference.
Where's Denver now? Didn't Denver after the game last night? Didn't they win 8 straight now?
I
thought I seen that they won 8 straight after their Laker win last night. So they were struggling in the beginning, and now that Denver is playing very, very well. And they don't even have all their pieces, and they're playing very well.
I got it right here, y'all.
That's 8 straight?
Nah, so right now, it looks like the Western Conference is – hold on. Western Conference is –
I'm talking about wins in a row.
I don't know about the wins, but they way out of the picture, bro.
Yeah, they lost.
Yeah. I know their record isn't that good. I'm talking about how they've been playing. They've been playing much better lately than they was in the beginning of the season.
They won 3 in a row. But before that, they had lost 3 in a row to the Lakers, Kings, and Bucks.
Okay. So I was mistaken on that. So I thought somebody told me that though. I thought somebody, but obviously not. I'm actually seeing it now. So yeah, they I think when it comes down to it, they're going to be more people out. I think they're going to be a problem still. And then you still got the Clips. PG still out. Kawhi isn't playing again, I think, tonight. So I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of people in and out on their team. Did Bradley come back yet? What's his name, man? The guard for the Clippers. The point guard, not Bradley.
I don't know his name.
I forget his name.
Beverly?
Yes. Did he come back yet?
Yeah, I think he is back.
Okay, so he was out for a while too. I mean, they had a lot of injuries. So I don't know what's going on with them except for just staying healthy, and they still have a good record. So I just think that I'll just want to see more from them before I know are they a contender,
right,
or a pretender, as they say back in the day. Right?
How you feel, JD?
So I'm actually looking at Dan's his comment, and I think it would be a great series, but at the same time, like this whole, I don't know. I'm not like you, man. I got like a lot of feelings about them not really being who they say they are, because like I hate the record conversation. I hate that conversation because your record in the regular season really doesn't mean anything because of what happens in the postseason. Everybody's got a shot. I will say this: we've watched the Milwaukee Bucks for the last couple of years have these great records, and they have no hardware to show for it. Right. So I mean, we are always a prisoner of the moment, and what we currently see is what we kind of try to judge it on, and that's fine because I think that's all we have to judge it on this year, with it being a continuation of a weird year. So I mean, at the same time, like I'm looking at the numbers, like I'm looking at the top 7: Jazz, Lakers, Clips, and those 3 teams only 2 games away from each other.
Right.
So
not that far off.
Yeah, then you got the Suns and the Trailblazers and the Spurs all within a game of each other with the Nuggets. And the Nuggets being 2 games back from being in 3rd. I mean, come on, man. I mean, the West has always been a beast of it in its own nature. So I mean, to say that I would say that the Jazz are the new coming, or they can challenge some of these teams, maybe yes. But like you said, we haven't seen them against tonight. We will find out a lot about them.
Yeah.
We will find out a lot about them because it's no better. No, check this out. Hold on, check me out. Hold on, wait a minute. So the reason I say that is because the Sixers need to win for morale. Right. And Doc is not going to want to have a 3-game losing streak going back home. He just doesn't want that. So this is going to be a pivotal game for the Sixers to come out of this rut, get back home to try to start their own game winning streak. So yes, we're going to find out a lot about these. What is it? The Jazz. Yeah. We're going to find out a lot about them. And really, if JoJo goes out for 50 or whatever, because he's just finding a way to get buckets. So if he goes off and we have to start that conversation about MVP, this is going to be one of those games that's going to solidify one of these deciding moments because LeBron does this on the regular. Like he go into a big game and get a bucket. Like that's him. Right. I need to see that from my own self as far as moving forward for Joel Embiid because can he take that next step? So I think that I think that's food goal.
So I'll put it this way. As much as people are doubting the Sixers, you doubt the Bucks, like JD said there, the Jazz I think all these teams are in that situation right there where I'm not going to believe you until I see it. You know what I mean? Because even with the Sixers, man, I love what the Sixers have done. I love the way they look. I told you earlier, I'm very confident with Embiid playing the way he's playing, but it just always feels like something goes wrong. And, that's why I'm just holding out before I go off, saying, some all-worldly stuff about the Sixers, because I don't have to want to, eat my words or cause some, bad karma, whatever the case may be. But I think all of these teams are like right in that area. You look at the Bucks, Giannis, when he gets to the playoffs and they put that wall up similar to what they do to Ben Simmons. He has nothing for it either, but that doesn't get talked about nearly as much. No. But he doesn't have anything for that either. So until we see him do that, I can't believe that he could do that. Right. And it goes the same for the Jazz. And this was my follow-up question to that Jazz question is Donovan Mitchell good enough to be a number one star on a contending team? Is he good enough to do that?
No.
I haven't seen enough to say
that. I haven't seen enough to believe that at all.
And don't tell me about the bubble. The bubble was exactly what it was, the bubble. So you can't tell me, he played that way in the bubble. That doesn't mean he's going to do that. We're going in different stadiums now. You're traveling, you're getting on planes, back-to-backs, there's everything going on. So I don't want to talk about the bubble anymore. The bubble was last year's the bubble. I haven't seen them do all that this year. They played well, but they have played well as a team. Team, they have played well. You mentioned all the players that are contributing. Bucks might win 6th man of the year. He's averaging more this year, 17 points, 37% from 3-point. He's doing all that. He wasn't doing that before. He was averaging like 13 points a game. So he's stepping his game up. So all of these factors is why they're winning. It's not Donovan that's killing any. He's 35 a game and they're going crazy. It's just so we got to see it. Like you're saying, you got to show me that you can do that. I just don't. I want to talk about it. I want to see it.
See, and that's where I think the Jazz actually differ from the Sixers in that sense, where they are just an overall good team. And, they play team defense. They shoot a lot of threes. They shoot a good percentage. That translates, though. You know what I mean? But sometimes when you run into that buzzsaw that is LeBron James and Anthony Davis, it's just not enough.
Right.
And, I think that's where they differ from the Sixers, who just mightily struggle without Joel Embiid. Yeah. Is that, and Jazz would struggle without Donovan Mitchell. I'm not saying that. But just in that sense of it is a team, the way they're coached, you can see the culture. It's about defense. It's about not turning the ball over, playing the game the right way. I keep pointing that out. I'm a big fan. That's what tore me up about the Sixers last year. And we don't even need to talk about last year, but in the playoffs, the way they were playing basketball, the way Brett Brown had them running in the offense, it bothered the hell out of me because he was not running that team right. They weren't playing good basketball. And when your team plays good team basketball, you can at least contend. You know what I mean? You can at least contend. You might not be able to get over the hump without the right talent, but you can at least be there. And that's the difference between the Jazz and the Sixers right there.
Or you can be satisfied with the way you play. You can be okay. You play everything the right way. You do the right things. For example, that one play that I was talking about with Booker. He stopped him from penetrating. And then Booker stepped back off of a contested three that Ben had his hand right in his face and still bear. You got to give it to the player with that. I can deal with that type of defense. I can deal with that type of effort if a play is still made. You know, it's like a cornerback on a wide receiver. If you're right there contesting and it goes right over your fingertips and the guy catches a touchdown, there's nothing you can do about that. The effort is most important. That bubble, I don't know what that was until we were down 3-0. I think the last game, that's when we showed a little bit more gumption and actually. Oh, all right, look, we're not getting swept. You know,
right.
You wait till you're 3 down to get to do that. Where was that the first 3 games? You know, so yeah, I feel you on that. We got to have the effort. Effort is A1, and then everything else falls in line after that.
Exactly.
What do you think, JD?
I'm not really even want to talk about these dudes, man. I don't. But I do have something that I do want to say though, real quick. I've been thinking about it while we was talking. Do you guys think that Doc Rivers basically turned us into his Celtics team, the way he built it up with KG and Rondo and Paul Pierce and was it Ray Allen? Like, did you think that he basically modeled that team and basically brought that to Philadelphia? Because I'm starting to believe that it might be true.
Yeah. You know, when you think about the optics.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that.
Like, we've seen a lot of that.
Rondo, Seth Curry, I guess you would throw him and Danny Green in that Ray Allen like role. And then, Tobias is obviously in that mid-range Paul Pierce type of role.
Yeah. I wasn't even thinking about that.
He's that dominating force in the middle. So, yeah, I mean – that might have gave him, working with a player like Rondo may have given him the tools to be able to work with a guy like Simmons. Because we're starting to see Simmons come around. And, hey, guess what? We can shift right to Sixers talk now. Yeah, that was a good intro question because it's a good point. Yeah. What I've seen differently, and you still see hints of the old Ben Simmons and I don't want to call it motivation. What do I want to call it? Confidence.
He's tentative.
Yeah. Tentative. Yeah. The aggressiveness is what I should say. But yeah, I've seen it, click at times on a level that I've not seen it before. These hooks across the middle. I mean, he's getting like a go-to game in the post mid-range area with those one-handed shots. And I know it's not pretty, it might not be great, his form, whatever the case may be.
All I want to do is go in.
He's an awkward player. You know what I mean? He's gonna do some awkward stuff as long as it works. And I guess what we can start this segment on is how concerned are you as far as going into tonight's game against the number one? We've already talked about it a little bit. Going into the number 1 West seed in Utah, big game. Monday night. Don't want to lose 3 in a row in the West. End of the road trip. How important is this game? How demoralizing? Are our fans obviously just overreactive? Will the world be on fire if we lose this game tonight? How do you guys feel about that?
I'm not worried. You never want to lose 3 in a row. I heard AD say it a couple weeks ago that the Lakers never want to lose 2 in a row. But that's a championship mentality to think like that. And LeBron has embedded that in the brain to think that way. So you never want to lose 3 in a row. But I'm not concerned. If we lose this game, it's not, oh my God, the house is on fire and let's start trading everybody. This is a road trip. The West Coast road trips have always been, a little tough, and it is what it is. It doesn't matter if it's the Sixers, if it's the Celtics. The Celtics had a bad road trip out west. Milwaukee just had a bad road trip out west. So a lot of teams struggle when they go out west. And this is the last game of it. The last game, sometimes you're struggling. They've been out there for maybe a week and a half because they haven't gave them a back-to-back. So every time they play, they put like a day or two in between, where normally one of these games would have been back-to-back in a regular schedule. So they trying to spread it out and give you more thing. I wanted to act. Dan, I did. I wanted to go 3-1 myself. I absolutely did. I think we gave away that Blazer game. That Blazer game should have been a win. So
it was a winnable game.
Yeah, we had no really business losing to Portland again.
Melo. we got
and a lot of other reasons.
Melo for some reason. It felt like one of them nights where, if we were going to lose that game no matter what. Like, it just seemed like it just wasn't right. You know what I mean? Similar to the first time we played Portland, it just wasn't going right. Something weird about that Portland team there. It's what it is.
It's the matchup.
Yeah, it's matchups and it's shooting threes. We don't hit a lot of threes, so teams that hit a lot of threes are going to torment us right now.
I like the way we played Lillard, though. I like the way we defended him.
Yeah, Ben did play well against Lillard.
We took the ball out of his hands and made other people make some plays. So that actually is what got us back in that game. So we had good defense. We just didn't execute at the end. We should have won that game. But as far as this game, I'm not worried. I just want them to compete. I want them to compete, and then let's get back and let's get healthy. Because Shake is going to play again tonight. Yeah. Let's get Shake healthy for this next game coming up after tonight, and get ourselves together to get on another roll of winning 5, 6, 7 straight like we did before we went out west. But I wouldn't say I'm concerned if we lose this game. I know everybody else will. All over Twitter and Facebook. Oh my God, I can't believe this and that. Get rid of Ben. I told you we should have got Bill. We let Harden go to Brooklyn, and you're going to hear all the madness going to go crazy. And then Sixers going to win 4 or 5 straight, and then everybody's going to calm down again. So we lose tonight. We're still up 1 in the East. So that's how you got to think about it. We lose tonight. We're still up 1. The way Milwaukee's been playing, and then Brooklyn is just Brooklyn right now. So I think we'll be fine. Everybody just needs to relax and let us get healthy, totally healthy, and then get on a nice little roll.
Yeah.
Shoot. I mean, I didn't kind of hung out the last 2 segments, so I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all have it. All right, so here we go. So the Sixers. Everybody, I told you guys this before, like everybody's big on selling the stock, man. Everybody wants to sell the stock. Like people not gonna make no money selling the stock every single time the stock drop. Like sometimes you gotta weather the storm. Basketball is a game that's based on matchups. And to be honest with you, without Shake, our matchups look weird on that second team. Yeah, they look super suspect because he's our Lou Will in a sense. Yeah. He's definitely our Lou Will. The Clippers don't look right without Lou Will. So it's like, I don't understand why we don't understand that. The casual fan, I guess, doesn't understand it. So I'm trying to tell you guys, if you are a serious fan, if you really want to be a serious fan, stop posting things on the internet where you say stupid, asinine stuff like, hey, let's trade Ben Simmons because he's been playing bad. And honestly, just take solace in the fact that you have a Ben Simmons. Like there's a lot of people that don't have a Ben Simmons that would kill for him. And secondly, just to kind of just continue to roll into my little bit of debauchery that I'm about to get into. Stop being these people where we sell and don't realize that these 4 games that we won in a row, everybody was trying to beat us in that time frame. You're going to have injuries. There's going to be things that happen. This Sixers team is built. Like I just told y'all, they're built a lot like that Celtics team. While you guys were talking, I was doing a little research because I wanted to see what that Sixers team, the Sixers team looks like compared to that Boston Celtics team. And to be honest, there was talks that year of Rondo not shooting the ball. He wouldn't shoot it. They lost the game to the Chicago Bulls in that season, which I just looked up, which is in December of that year. They lost a game where Rondo had the last shot. He went all the way to the basket. He passed it out to Ray Allen for a 3, who wasn't able to get the ball off in time, and they lost. He caught all kind of grief. All right. Doc is used to this. People will not let Doc do this thing, but he's He's already said, I don't care about him shooting. Why do you think he says that? Because he had Rondo. Rondo killed you in all the same ways that Ben Simmons killed you. He just 7 inches shorter than him. You know, so
bigger,
why are we pushing the panic button? We have somebody even like Perkins. We got Dwight Howard. You know what I'm saying? You know, we got somebody like Perkins.
I'll tell you why. You haven't been in Philly long enough. It's Philly. That's why everybody panics.
Hey, man. And it's like, I'm okay with it, and I get it. I guess I get it, but at the same time, if you're gonna come to me and say I'm a fan, I am a knowledgeable fan, because we have irrational fans. I love Googs on Tony's show. Googs, I love Googs. He's my guy, but he's the irrational fan. Let the irrational fan stuff stay with Googs. Like the irrational fan stuff, like stop it, because at the end of the day, the same stuff that we're sitting here talking about, we're gonna be praising in like a couple weeks when everything really starts going.
Right.
The game's going to constrict. It's like a heart attack. Towards the end, when you're about to have that heart attack, your chest get real tight and you start making them ugly faces. That is when Ben Simmons kicks it into high gear. That's when Tobias Harris under Doc Rivers starts to feel himself, and he hits those key shots in the last 3 seconds where everybody last year said, "Oh, let's get rid of Tobias. We paid too much for him." And yes, irrational fan shit. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, stop doing irrational fan stuff. I mean, I know it's a family show, but listen, we gotta be mindful that the season is long, and this is the first year we've had real life coaching that can help us win big games and games that are tight. Because Brett Brown would normally just take the best player out and say, "Oh, well, I'm trying to lose it." So let's just relax. Let's wait. Let's see. Give me 5 games. For the fans, give me 5 games. If we lose the next 5, then we get the panic button. But I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm sure you guys will hit me in the Twitter. And if you guys have a problem about what I'm saying, at JD Oracle _2TW, please at me. I have no problem.
I love people that at me. I'm right down the bottom. A Griffin Mitsu. Anytime you have somebody disagree with anything I have to say, hit me up and say, "Al, you say yada yada yada, and don't panic." On what's today? The 16th? No, 15th. You said on the 15th on the show. All right, yeah, I did say that, and now we look where we're at. You know, I bet you on the other hand, they're not going to give you the credit either. They're going to say, you said relax, and you did, and we should have relaxed, because look at our record now. You know, so it is what it is.
No, but I thought that was a great point. You know, just the reactionary, and it kind of ties into all this social media stuff. You know, everybody's looking at Brooklyn. They went out and got Harden. So like, we want to make a splashy move. You know what I mean? It's almost like childish to the point, you know what I mean? And it, even with the Eagles, you know what I mean? That shit is tiring. Like dealing with that. I've totally, you've noticed in my shows, I do not touch on the Eagles that much right now, because I can't deal with that shit right now. Like, that's a mess.
I tried to go on Facebook Live earlier and explode because I'm tired of these people, man. It just the stuff that they say is just
reactionary.
It's like what you're saying, JD. Just the just throwing out stuff that doesn't even make sense and is not true. They just throw out anything. Oh, Carson Wentz had 3 bad years. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Don't bring him up. Don't bring him up here. Don't bring him up here. He's not allowed. He's no longer needed here. But I do have something to tell you guys. So the Blake Griffin question, a fan is texting me asking me about the Blake Griffin question, and I want you guys' opinion on it. I mean, I know it's not my show, but I really want to know what y'all think for real.
No, I was actually gonna point that out because there is a segment that I was getting to. You know, just talking about the bench. You guys, you kind of already hit on that, Oracle, with Shake. Obviously, Shake's missing. That's a missing piece. That's why the bench isn't performing well right now. I mean, it's so obvious. He's a scoring threat. He's the creator of that second unit. It makes sense. I think Doc still needs to figure out adjustments when Shake's not there. You know, maybe putting Tobias with the second unit a little bit more. But to your point, Oracle,
I was thinking maybe you should put. Ben with the second unit a little bit more, because he can control things and get people in the right spots. When you got to let Court create, he can't create.
Yeah,
so you get him into a driving kick situation, and Mike Scott to a driving kick situation that can create points as opposed to people trying to create on their own. Anybody in that second unit that's not Shake Milton trying to create on your own is not a good situation.
Yeah, no. My problem with putting Ben with that second unit is because I do not want him and Dwight Howard on the floor at the same time, to be completely honest. And Bible, I don't want that together because that just sounds like a whole bunch of non-shooting, non-offensive. You know what I mean? So, to your point, that the next question on that was going to be: do you think that if we were to add some pieces, I do think we'll add a couple minor pieces, maybe some role players, something like that, but nothing major. Do you think that they should try to go out and make a major move? You already hit it, Oracle. Don't sell the farm. A guy that I find interesting is a guy like Kyle Lowry, homegrown, but I do think that that's going to take a little too much to get him from Toronto. Right. But I don't know how realistic that is. Blake Griffin is a buyout option. I don't know if he already has gotten bought out today. I know there's rumors of it. They're in discussion. So Blake Griffin is interesting. Part of me worries of like this, Al Horford situation last year. I know they're not the same player by any means. I don't mean it like that. But I also think about it in a sense of Blake Griffin, if he comes in and plays the right role. And is given the, not too many minutes, similar to like a Dwight Howard in that sense, if he doesn't cost that much. I think that he can bring, especially to that second unit, you mentioned Ben Simmons getting things together. Blake Griffin could do a little passing from that forward spot as well. He can. I don't know if he's still pushing the ball up. I heard he hasn't dunked since 2019, so I don't think he's doing any of that crazy athletic stuff anymore. He has improved his three-point shot, but I think some other team is probably going to find him a little bit more valuable to them than what we probably would. That's just my take on Blake Griffin. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I mean, I like Blake. I like Blake. If he, obviously, you would have to have a conversation with him. You would have to come for the veteran minimum, and you had to have a conversation with him. You're going to play in between 9 to 13 minutes a game. Could be more if some type of foul trouble, or we see fit where you're hot and we're going to give you the ball a little bit more. But you got to know coming in, we're trying to win a championship, and this is how we're going to have to do it. If you're not good with that, then you're going to have to move on to somebody else. I had another name, which is Ellington out in Detroit. He would be very nice. I actually wanted the Sixers to pick him up last year for free agency. So I would take a shot on him too, since they're getting rid of everybody in Detroit. We might as well take him too. So if we added, just hypothetically, we added 2 of those pieces, that wouldn't be bad. Two pieces, and they would both be cheap. Ellington's making like, even when you could trade for him because he's only making like 2.4, something like that a year. Something's real small. So you could throw them a second round pick.
So the rumor that came out today was that the Sixers were like in talks with the Pistons and another team. I can't remember what team he's on. Is he on New Orleans?
He's on OKC.
OKC, yeah. So apparently the Sixers were in talks with both of those teams about those 2 guards, DeLon Wright and George Hill.
George Hill would be nice
as well. But you mentioned Wayne Ellington. That's kind of one of them things where you could maybe package both of those guys together and get them. But I'll let you follow up, Oracle, on the Blake Griffin. How do you feel about that? Another name I will throw in the mix there. That was just mentioned by Matt Barnes. No rumors or anything. But
I was just about to say what you're about to say.
As well.
Yes, yeah. I would take him, but he also said he said Ariza is on some type of leave right now.
Yeah,
he's not even playing.
Most likely because they're not competing though.
Okay.
He's over there in OKC.
Go ahead, JD.
All right. So Trevor Ariza is 97 years old.
You're right.
He was around for the Lakers championship.
Yeah.
They'll be like going out and getting Shannon Brown. So like let's stop the madness. Secondly, Blake Griffin is also a senior citizen. So, like, I mean, I love these veteran minimum guys you can go after that can't add some seniority to your locker room. But right now, I don't know. I don't think he helps you. I don't think he's the guy. Like, Ellington helps you. He's not as old as those guys.
Right.
Wayne Ellington was still in high school when they started playing in the NBA. Right. So yes, I mean, let's just be honest about this thing. Like I love the overreaction. I love when people get super excited about big names, but big names when they old, not the same big names. These guys aren't Vince Carter. Like,
yeah, but
Vince
you don't need
Carter,
them to do much. You don't need them to do much. You just need them to do a little bit of something. And
I'm gonna tell you
who else you gonna get at a cheap price? Give me
maybe nobody. But what I'm saying, I mean, we really don't need a whole lot. Like, I mean, I understand we don't need a whole lot. Like Blake Griffin, you never know what the chemistry in the locker room is gonna be. Let's say Blake Griffin still got some residual pissed offness from the Clippers days with him and Chris Paul and all them. Like, you never know. Like, you don't call your ex anymore when you're done with your ex. That's bad juju. Why does everybody want to do that? Stop calling your ex. She is our ex for a reason. Blake Griffin is Doc's ex for a reason. Stop going after them people. Second of all, I'm gonna hit y'all with this and I'll be done. I'm telling you, I'm done. After this. You have to stop doing this. And Al, I'm talking to you because you do this all the time. I'm gonna go ahead and just put it out there.
Let's hear it.
You have to stop thinking that we need to add more pieces to more ingredients to the pie. You put too much stuff in a pie, it's nasty. Like, listen, like, let's just let these guys get congealed together. They a good group. You got Doc. We didn't have Doc. Can we give Doc 1 year to see what he can do? Like, we haven't had Doc. We haven't had Brett.
But we have a rookie backup point guard. You trying to tell me it wouldn't be nice to have a nice veteran point guard come off that can handle the pressure in the playoffs, won't commit that turnover, hit an open shot, get the offense running a little bit better? That wouldn't be a little bit helpful?
You can go ahead, JD.
Only thing I'm gonna say to that is I understand where you're going with that, but the thing about it is, if he don't get it with us, when he gonna get it? These guys, Kobe shot a airball 3. Like, that happened in the playoff game. And because he had that happen to him, he got that experience. Like, we cannot substitute experience for just saying, oh, I don't want him just to happen. Like,
it
might not happen.
That was going to be my question to y'all. It was, how much is a guy like George Hill, or, like a guy like, even DeLon Wright, I mean, he's a little bit younger. I mean, I guess if you're going for, you want to just build some youth there, but what does that do for you if you're cutting out Max's experience? What do you draft him in the first round for if you're not going to give him those minimal minutes to get experience? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, Ben Simmons is going to have to be that guy. I mean, he's going to have to be the guy running the offense at the end of the game. And we'll go through that storm whenever it comes, as far as him shooting in the playoffs, whatever the case may be. But I just don't know if it is worth it to basically manipulate Maxi's growth. Because obviously the motive for you to go out and get an experienced backup point guard, and I say this, and what I'm trying to keep away from it is a guy like Kyle Lowry, who I think would make a big ass difference. You know what I mean? Like,
but you had to give a lot to get him.
I mean? Like, that's minimal difference that George Hill's going to make. Maybe he makes one smart pass, that Maxey wouldn't have, or one defensive read that Maxey wouldn't have. I think Maxey's highly talented. I think he is a pure point guard. I think he can score the ball. I want to see more, and I do. That's kind of where I'm at. That fence of I don't want to hamper his growth. Even guys like Thibault, as much as we want him on the offensive end to contribute, but he's got to grow in order to do that. He's got to learn, and that's the struggle in Philly, man. Is we talk about overreaction, but we got to talk about patience as well. You know what I mean? We got to have some patience, let these guys grow. So that's where, like, just to put it simply, that's where I'm at. If it's not a guy that you can get without mortgaging your future, and this is the rarest part because it won't happen. If it's not a guy that you can get that can put you over the edge, but that you don't have to mortgage your future,
right.
then yeah, sure, I'll do it. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm at, and that won't happen at this point. It's not going to happen. They're going to want Thibault. They're going to want Maxey. They're going to want a first-round pick. They're going to want this and that. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with those. The buyout situations are a little bit different. I'm more than the backup point guard. I'm going for more of that like stretch 4 or 3-and-D type of forward. I think that's where we lack a little bit more. Another thing that's been bothering me is the rebound, and that's been bothering me as well. The second opportunities for other offenses. That's been getting on my damn nerves. And then the second part with that bench, I hate how many times Dwight Howard touches the ball and loses the ball. I don't know how you can fix that. But that shit is so annoying.
You got to deal with what you got to deal with there, because he's going to cause a couple of turnovers, and he's going to do a lot of stupid offensive fouls and loose ball fouls. But then you got to think of the little bit of minutes that he's in there. He's probably going to grab 9 rebounds and block a couple of shots and defend pretty good. So it's going to be, you got to deal with the good and the bad with him. And I see a lot of people going crazy, but don't get Dwight Howard out. Dwight, again, the basketball knowledge, Dwight Howard is doing what we need him to do. It's not all of he's not out there to score 30 a game, none of that type of stuff. Set good picks, grab rebounds, block a couple of shots. When somebody's coming in there, don't let any easy baskets, so foul them and really foul them, and that's not Embiid's fouls. Those type of things, not just what everybody. It frustrates me, the knowledge sometimes that people just say some crazy stuff out here, worrying about the wrong stuff. Like we're worried about Dwight Howard is doing what we need him to do. We don't need him to do all the other crazy stuff. I know he's doing the offensive fouls and the loose balls. I know that's crazy. But think of the positive. One game I looked up, he had 10 rebounds. He didn't play enough to have 10 rebounds, but he's grabbing those boards. He's creating more opportunities on offensive rebounds, and he's kicking it back out. He made a couple of free throws the other night that I was surprised on, because they can't stop him off of the offensive board, so they got to foul him. So those create more opportunity. So sometimes on the free throws, you're like, hey, 1 or 2, I take that, considering he's probably going to miss 2. So you got to take the good with the bad. We got to get our knowledge up. And really, like,
that's amazing. You got to educate, man. Educate. Yes. But before it is getting close, I think the game's about to start. I did just want to get a good little preview in before that game actually starts. What are your feelings on the actual game flow? Do you think it's going to be a close game? Do you think the Sixers come out sluggish? How are you guys feeling about just gut feeling on the game tonight?
I think gut feeling is we're going to come out a little sluggish. They're going to punch us in the mouth a little bit, and we're going to come back around halftime. And then the third quarter is going to be where the game is going to be won or lost at. We're either going to come out the third quarter and ready to play and turn up the defense, or they're going to put a little separation and it's going to be 10 to 15-point game, and then that's the way it's going to be the rest of the game. I just feel that I just don't have a good feeling being on the West Coast. This is the last game. Shake still isn't there. It just doesn't feel like a win. I would love a win. I would love to get a win here, because that would. I mean, everybody. It would be all over SportsCenter. We win tonight. But I just don't feel that right now we can beat them. Coming to Philly, that's going to be a whole nother story, because everybody. No, I'm not worrying about when. I don't see anybody coming into Philly beating us. We should have 0 losses. COVID things happen and so we should still be undefeated at home. Playing at home is another subject. But being on the road in this road trip, if we had came out there for like say a one game and played them, I would feel much better than being on this road trip for a little over a week now. That's just the way I feel. Again, I hope we get a win, but I don't see it. What do you think, JD?
I'll make it short. So Joel Embiid is the key to this game. if Joel Embiid is able to establish himself, get Rudy Gobert, a rim protector, in foul trouble, we will have a really easy game. It won't be close. If Joel Embiid struggles to score and he doesn't establish himself and we do not get Rudy Gobert in, we're going to have problems because they do shoot the three pretty well. So, and we've talked about that earlier, that the three was kind of been our Achilles heel to a certain extent as far as defense goes. And it's, the game has changed. You know, normally you could, like back in the day, you could like kind of hunker down and hopefully people didn't shoot all over you. But in this day and age, the shooting is detrimental. That whole Golden State type style play that really hampers us. So
threes are better than twos.
Exactly. You can make as many, you make 2 threes, you got to make 3 field goals to catch up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, so we always try to do that. We try to do that simple math to kind of gauge how we're going to play. And really, in all honesty, if we can soften that middle up by getting Rudy Gobert out of there, getting a couple guys in foul trouble, making Spider actually have to play defense.
Yeah.
Making him have to play defense, not, hopefully.
Being aggressive.
And that's it. Being aggressive. Yeah, just being aggressive. And hopefully Doc will have that in his mindset and in his game plan, and they'll be all successful, and we'll go home with a dub and we'll get this thing rolling so people can stop freaking out and trying to sell the house and the farm and the ranch and their wife and 2 of their kids
and pulling people off of Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
Man.
And putting ventilators in their house and buying N95 masks.
I'm telling you, JT, don't get on Twitter tomorrow, man. If the Sixers lose, do not even get on because
certain days I know to stay away from it because in that and Facebook, people just go bananas. Oh my God, I can't believe that this team is trash. I told you from the beginning of the season, like just way overboard.
I think, for me tonight, I'll make this quick so we can get to you guys' top 5 players. We can get out of here and go check out the game. But, tonight, I just have the feeling, we'll see how it goes. It's a regular season game at the end of the day. So it's not the end of the world for everybody out there that's going to overreact if they lose this game.
Right.
It can go one of 2 ways, just like it usually does, honestly. If Joel's cooking and the offense is flowing, if they're playing with defensive intensity, they'll win the game. And if they're not, they're gonna get blown up by threes. That's what's gonna happen. If they don't get out and contest those shooters, Utah's gonna be playing their game. And it's as simple as that. We'll see how it goes. It does have me in a little bit of a betweener type of feel to it. Based off hearing you, Al, and then you, JD. I'm kind of like right in between there. I just feel like, they could come out sluggish. It would make sense. And I do look at those previous 2 games as those are the games that you kind of wanted to steal and take those. Like if you wanted to steal 2 of the games, then it would have probably been the 2 out of the last 3.
Right.
As far as those teams, I don't think it's the end of the world. At the end of the day, they lost to contenders. Contenders. You know what I mean? So they lost to some of the better teams in the league. They lost to some of the better superstars in the league. It's not the end of the world. Sometimes it happens. But I'll leave it at that. I do think the Sixers can win. I won't be surprised if they do lose. That's kind of where I'm at. But before I get you guys out of here, I like to get this with everybody that comes on the show. Just your top 5 players in the NBA right now. I know it's a hard – not too difficult, but it seems to be like the same people just in different orders every time. I'm kind of just trying to give you the option, either your favorite 5 to make it interesting or just the 5 players you think is playing the best in the league right now.
I'll probably say JoJo 1, LeBron, Beal, what's that, 4?
3.
That was 3?
Yeah.
I'll probably go Giannis. And then I gotta put him in there. Steph.
All right. Oh man, Dan just hit us with Bad news.
What?
Oh man.
How did that change?
I'm not sure, man.
You better call Woj up, find out what's up.
Right? I'm like, what's up? Is he out for real?
Hold on. Let me see if Woj tweeted that. Is he sure, or is he messing with us?
Matter of fact, I ain't even. I'm not. Dan, I love
what it is.
on that. I hope that's not true. I hope it's lies. But my 5 right now is Curry, KD, LeBron, Joel, and Tatum.
Okay,
I gotta put Tatum in there because like that dude, like since he been back, that team just look different, man. They look different. They look scary with Tatum, man. For sure, unfortunately. Then you just ruined this show.
Right?
Yeah.
I swear, bro. I swear.
Damn, we're about to go off the air. You could have waited till we got off.
Just ruined all this work I just did. We gotta go. Now we gotta re-record the whole last 50 minutes of the show.
Yeah, we're probably not gonna win this game.
No, we got. I mean, unless everybody's on fire and Utah has an off game, that'd be the only way that we have.
Definitely not as exciting anymore, man. Almost not.
Sell the ranch tonight, then. Just go ahead and get ready for the sell the ranch comments. And we got Dan Wojcicki reporting the news with Woj bombs.
Woj bombs mid-show.
Now, let me be fair. I know Dan is saying that, but Woj did not say it on his Twitter yet.
We got Woj.
Huh?
Oops.
I just looked at Woj. Woj did not say that. Are you messing with us, Dan?
He just ruined the show. That's what he did.
I don't know. I'm seeing different stuff. Like there is people talking about Tony Bradley right now.
Yeah, but I don't see. Woj normally would say something like that if he was out.
Right. Let me check.
Especially at the last second. Isn't this a televised game? Isn't this a national game?
Yeah.
I think they could be wrong, man. I think they could be wrong. Honestly, it still says day to day on.
I don't see.
Dan tried to sabotage us. He saw we was doing good. He was like, "Let me throw a wrench. Let's see how they let's see how they react to it. Let's see how they pivot." Like,
yo, but before I end the show, I do want to get out of here and catch the game. I got to see if Embiid's playing at this point. Now my anticipation's killing me. For your top 5 now, are those just the top 5 that are playing right now as far as the level they're playing, or are those just your top 5 as far as who you think are the most skilled?
No, that's my who's playing at the top of their game right now. This just who's just doing things a little bit different. Brown, KD, Steph, Giannis, Luka. Yeah, but their record is not that great right now. That's the only problem. I actually put Steph in there, and his record isn't that great either. I put an emphasis always on winning. So the teams that I put on there, they're winning. So you can be. Oh, actually, I put Bradley Beal in there. I really shouldn't have because they're not winning. Just because you're lighting it up. You know, I never was a person that, oh my God, like Harden last year was lighting it up and they weren't winning. Like, I don't care if you had the people, Harden dropped 70 points last year. Oh my God, Harden. They lost the game. Who cares if he scored 70 points if they lost the game? That's the knowledge that we got to have, people. It doesn't matter how many points you score if your team loses. You can't celebrate that you scored 70 points and you lost the game. I mean, maybe it's just me.
Yeah, Embiid's out. He's not starting.
You did see it now?
Yeah, he's not starting. They got Mike Scott starting.
I
hope that's not right. That might just be ESPN glitch. I don't know. It looks like Mike Scott's in the starting lineup.
We're going to legitimately sell the team after this podcast. Everybody's going to go outside. They're going to go outside to their vehicles, and they're going to light them all up.
Good.
They're going to go outside to their car. This is what happens in Philly, because I'm in the outskirts, so it won't hit us until probably tomorrow. So what's going to happen is everybody's going to panic, and then they're going to go out to their cars. They're going to take those little old school bombs that you make with a glass bottle. They're gonna throw them in their cars and they're just gonna burn them all the way down the street. And that's just what's gonna happen. And they're gonna sell the farm. It's gonna be a state of emergency in the outskirts of Philly because of Embiid being out. Because we sell the team if anything happens.
Right.
It's crazy.
I can't.
Yeah. I can't. And that's the underlying thing here is that in a game like this, Embiid had to want to play, right?
All right,
he had to want to play. He just couldn't, and that's what I would say is more.
Yeah, I see it now. What Sixers just tweeted 14 minutes ago that he wasn't in the starting lineup. So when the Sixers say it, that's official right there. Why you started Mike Scott, I have no idea, but whatever. I guess when Embiid isn't starting, it doesn't matter who else starts.
Just put scoring out there.
So, but now I don't want to, whatever happens, and I don't want to kill anybody. So I don't want Ben to be playing 40 minutes and don't even do all of that. Whatever happens. You're gonna play to your best of your ability. Everybody do their best, be aggressive, and then whatever happens. But in the fourth quarter, if we're down, get the starters out of there. It's no point to try to be. It's just let it go. It's no point. It is what it is at this point. But I am very disappointed because I wanted to see how we played against an elite team like this. But as of right now, elite team. Yeah, it was just put a whole downer on the whole show.
Yeah, it was definitely going to be one of those measuring stick games. Yeah. But luckily we didn't spend too much time on actual previews, so it actually worked out. We spent our time on some other stuff there. So we'll be good to put this out tomorrow still. It didn't lose too much weight. But, hey, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get you guys out of here. I want to go check out the game. I'm sure you guys do too.
Absolutely.
Thank you once again, guys. Al, Jamar,
appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on the show. You guys are always welcome on the show, Heat Ratio family. So let's keep it together. I appreciate y'all. If you guys just want to plug yourselves one more time before I get you out of here.
Yeah, check us out on Half Court Heat again on Sunday nights. And like I said, the time varies with my partners. So we will. I will normally say in between 6 and 9, according to if it's a Sixer game that particular night. We pushed it one time for the Super Bowl. We pushed it up a little bit, but we're going to bring the heat every Sunday. Every Sunday, NBA talk and Sixers talk, of course. Check us out.
All right. I hate the plug part. It's like the worst part. I'm not really good at it. Yo, I'm JD Oracle. I'm at JD Oracle _2TW from the Dang, I forgot the name of my show. That was crazy. I got so many. That was wild. That was wild.
Trust me, bro. It happened. It happened.
No, it happened to me earlier in the show. I couldn't remember our show name.
Yeah,
I had to look at my phone to remember.
Yeah, I'm To The Wire. I'm at To The Wire Sports or To The Wire Sports Shows. I'm also on Heat Network, Heat Ratio Network. And yeah, man, you guys catch me on my Twitter. I just learned how to use it. So if it takes me a couple of days to reach back out, it's not because I'm ignoring you. I literally don't know how to use it. So yeah, man, that's it. Thank you guys for having. Thank you both of you guys, and especially you, Scotty. Thanks for having us on, man.
Absolutely,
if I can ever return the favor, let me know.
For sure.
Appreciate the love.
Let me know what you guys need. I got y'all's backs. Thank you for joining. Trust me, JD, I'm still working on my intros and outros myself. I've been doing I'm probably like 50 episodes in, so it never gets easier. But I get in a routine at least now. But of course, give these guys a follow on social media. Find Heat Ratio Sports on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter at Heat Ratio Sports. You can find my Twitter handle at Scotty Drowned. That's my personal page. And then the sports page at ST Philly Sports 1. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for all the comments. I appreciate you all watching. And that's going to be it. Peace. Go Sixers.
Go Sixers.